Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you to our witnesses for being here. Artificial intelligence is already reshaping our classrooms and our workplaces, whether we're ready for it or not. Students are using it, employers are using it, and the federal government is still trying to catch up. In North Carolina, universities are racing to launch AI majors and research centers, not just to meet the workforce demand, but out of fear of being left behind. That urgency raises an important question: are we building sustainable pathways for students or simply chasing the next academic gold rush? Today, I want to recognize this Virginia McCarter Jacobs, who is the CEO of the National School Board Association, in the audience. I thank her for being here. She's leading the charge to ensure that school board members are also prepared to create AI policy in K-12 schools. And thank you so much for being here. Building an AI-ready America isn't just about speed. It's about trust, it's about fairness, and who gets left behind when decisions are automated without guardrails. And that's where this conversation matters. So let me just turn to our witnesses. Ms. Reeve Givens, a recent survey found that 62% of higher education leaders estimate that fewer than half of their faculty are using AI tools, while students are adopting them rapidly, often without guidance. And from your perspective, what risk does this uneven adoption create for students and educators, and how should institutions and the federal government think about supporting responsible AI use without forcing adoption or lowering academic standards?
When we think about how to make sure that AI brings everybody along across our society and economy, I think there are two different ways to think about this. One is about equitable access. Who can use these tools? Who are getting the skills and the benefits? And two is making sure that these schools aren't unintentionally creating greater divides, either through discrimination or bias or harmful uses of this technology. And we need to make sure we're focusing on both. So the first, about equitable access, our research shows that even as we studied K-12 schools, 85% of teachers and 86% of students are using AI. There are big discrepancies when you start going in on a geographic basis and on an income level as well. And so how do we think about the digital divide and addressing those gaps? On the difference that you describe in colleges of students getting more familiar with this technology than their professors may well be, all of this comes again to the notion of how do you prepare educators to be teaching the workers and the citizens of tomorrow, and realizing that they do need to become familiar with this technology. And again, the point I made earlier, this is not just about the tips and tricks to make AI help you do your job better, although that is very important. It is also taking a more sophisticated understanding of how AI is transforming learning and mitigating potential risks.
Great, thank you. The Center for Democracy and Technology has been tracking the use of automated decision tools, systems that make high-stakes decisions without hiring, promotions, or access to credit, often without human review. So what concerns you most about the use of these tools in the workplace? And do you believe that the federal government has a role in setting baseline protections so that automation does not quietly reproduce discrimination or shut out workers in terms of opportunity?
The use of AI in hiring and other decisions about employment is rapidly proliferating. And of course, there are efficiency reasons why employers are motivated to use these tools. But if the tools aren't rigorously examined and tested, there are real risks of them perpetuating discrimination because they are learning based on the historical data of who is being employed, or also perpetuating snake oil. In my testimony, I talked about an AI video interview. This is a real example where the person spoke in German instead of English and was still deemed a good match for the job. This tells you that employers don't necessarily know what they're buying. Workers definitely don't know what they're being tested about. And so transparency, rigorous testing, and then avenues for redress are hugely important.
Thank you. So quickly, how should policymakers think about preparing students for an AI-driven economy in a way that emphasizes AI literacy, critical thinking, and ethics rather than narrow technical skills that may quickly become obsolete?
I'm not an educator, but my impression is parents, teachers, and students care about this a lot. And one of the things we need to focus on is realizing AI is a tool. You are still the person that needs to be engaging in critical thought. And so understanding that comprehensive approach of when AI can help, but also its inherent limitations and the need for safeguards to make sure that it's being used responsibly and well. That is the complete package that we need to make sure teachers are being resourced to provide to their students, as well as, of course, using these tools responsibly themselves when they're using it in an education setting.
Great, thank you very much. I'm out of time, Mr. Chairman, I yield back.